10 cheap sports cars under $10,000.
Want cheap speed? Buy used. You won't get the latest tech or the most luxurious features,
but you will satisfy that need for speed, and do it without having to sell body parts to pay off the bill. 1. Mazda RX-7 FBSA 22C years, 1979 to 1985.
The first generation RX-7 is a raw, basic sports car, from its simple livery axle to its McPherson struts.
But it's an analog driver's car of great poise and hardwired driving feel. The rotary engine is feared for baseless reasons.
It's a simple beast, and if you can work on a piston engine you can work on a rotary.
People also make a lot of noise about the dead spot in the center of the FB steering.
Tighten the steer box up to a ½ inch of slop, and enjoy otherwise sublimely communicative steering. The 84 and 85 GSLSEs are king, with their fuel-injected 13B engines, limited slip differentials, and better brakes. They're out there for a touch below $10,000. If you can find one, take care of it.
2. Porsche Boxster 986 years, 1997 to 2004.
The car that saved Porsche, again. Toyota gave the Stuttgart company pointers on slashing costs by reusing parts across product lines, which is how the Boxster ended up sharing in those fried egg headlights with the 996. It was Porsche's first mid-engine car since the 914 2 decades earlier, and Porsche's first two-seat convertible since the 50s.
The Boxster became Porsche's volume seller, 160,000 sold in 8 years.
It's a guaranteed future classic, and prices have just started to bottom out, so buy one before prices rise. And it has 2 trunks, so that's neat for all your little stuff. 3.MGMGB/MGC years, 1962 to 1980.
The UK put out a lot of classic low-cost, low-weight roadsters in the 60s. Hardly any had the MGB's tight construction. Monocoque construction, in which the frame is part of the body, was relatively rare in 1962. While arch competitor Triumph stuck with the sloppier body-on-frame construction, MG over-engineered the MGB into an incredibly rigid platform for its time.
Later model rubber bumper cars have bottomed out in price, and there are kits to convert their exteriors to classic 6274 chrome, which run $1,300.
Acceleration be damned, there's not a person alive who wouldn't say 50 miles per hour on a good road in a raw little street sled is more fun than 80 miles per hour in a cruise.
4. Chevrolet Corvette C5 years, 1997 to 2004.
Overhead valve engine and fiberglass leaf rear suspension don't sound all that advanced.
But GM Racing made a winning career out of the C5 at 24 Hours of Le Mans and in the American Le Mans Series.
To return surprisingly good fuel economy and avoid the gas guzzler tax, 6-speed cars are saddled with a skip shift that will force a first to fourth upshift under certain conditions.
For those still unconvinced, technological sophistication is not a necessary ingredient of a good driver's car. Look at half the cars on this list.
5. Chevrolet Camaro/Pontiac Firebird, 3rd generation years, 1982 to 1992.
We're cheating. Pony cars aren't sports cars, but the third generation F-bodies make our list for their awesome handling. Not quite the Jurassic 70s cars they replaced, the third generation has sharp, firm steering and a curb weight just over 3,000 pounds.
Not bad for a beast with a cast iron heart of 8 cylinders. Reproduction parts are cheap, and parts cars are plentiful. Good for the 80s, its power is modest today, but you can work sheep magic on a small block Chevy and turn the third generation F-body into a rocket.
Like its forefathers, the third generation Camaro came in a lot of rare package combinations that are sought after today, such as the B4C Police Package, 1 La Race Package, and Z03 Heritage Package. 6. Porsche 924 944 years, 1976 to 1991.
The best car Porsche ever designed was for Volkswagen out of Audi parts. It was a joint project between Porsche and VW/Audi.
But VW lost its Fahrvergnügen and sold the design back to Porsche.
Traditionalists still make twisted faces at the water-cooled 4-cylinder in the front end, but the 924 saved Porsche from riding a 911-shaped lead weight into bankruptcy.
More or less the same car, the narrow-body 924 continued alongside the 8291 wide-body 944 for most of their lives.
The original 924 is a dog. Even back in 1976, the press was brutal. Porsche came out with turbo versions of both, but the naturally aspirated
turbo-legless 944S of later years supplanted the turbo as it closed in on its performance figures without the added weight, cost, and complexity. If you want utter lightweight, dig up a 924S. The 944S motor and a 200-pound lighter narrowbody finally made the 924 scoot.
7. Honda S2000 years, 1999 to 2009. The S2000 hit the market just as the Japanese economy went pear-shaped and took away our 300Z XS, Supras, 3000 GTs, and RX-7s. Except for the late RX-7.
It had more claim to being a hard-edged sports car than any of them. Drool on its sharp handling.
Respectable 2,800 pounds, and screaming 8,800 RPM redline, for the 9903 237 horsepower 2.0 liters engines.
Honda loved to create world-beating sports cars when the competition was playing it safe, and then let them wither on the vine without attention or updates.
There's not much difference across the range from its first year to its last. Honda lessened its tendency towards snap oversteer in 04, but there's little other reason to prioritize one model year over another. 8. Honda CRX, second generation years, 1988 to 1991.
If we started going on and on about the CRX's legendary fuel economy, 4347 mpg, you'd know we were full of it. The CRX makes our list because it turns like a go-kart on Velcro, weighing 1 cool ton, give or take depending on options.
It's merely 12 feet and inches long, never mind the front-wheel drive.
Around the time of the CRX's introduction, Lotus determined a front-wheel drive car would always be faster than a similar rear driver on certain roads and tracks.
Honda built solid cars. There aren't any particular problem areas on these hatchback sports cars of theirs.
9. Mazda Miata I years, 1990 to 1997.
Mazda wanted to build the modern MG, the kind of simple lightweight roadster that anyone could afford and enjoy on twisty back roads.
27 years of constant production, race wins, awards, and good sales made the Miata the torchbearer of modern sports car.
Even as exotics, hot hatches, muscle cars, and more technologically sophisticated, and more expensive, sports cars blossomed in the sports car-friendly 90s.
Forgiving and balanced, the Miata is a favorite for drivers learning to race and run track days.
Toyota MR2W 20 years, 1991 to 1995.
Mid-engine build is usually exclusive to exotic sports cars, and history's automakers have made very few mid-engine cars at the low end of the market.
The MR2 was a $20,000 car new, and even though it slipped below $10,000 on the used market,
It's held its value well because of that rare combination of layout and price. Turbo models are the ones to get, that's self-explanatory.
like a lot of mid-engine cars, the MR2 can be darty and oversteer at the limit. Even far away from the limits on public roads, though, you'll enjoy a neck-snapping willingness to rotate the nose.
Look for one that hasn't been turned into a Ferrari F355 replica, because people were doing that for a while in the 90s and 00s.